When Cade Cunningham was drafted number 1 in 2021, scouts called him a savant-like guard and a game changer.
Cade Cunningham to the basket. Hooks on the run, hits it. Count that baby and a foul.
And then, for 3 years, nothing. He didn't win Rookie of the Year. Injuries limited him to just 12 games in his second season. He spent year 3 on a historically bad Pistons team, a 28-game losing streak, a superstar free agent coach fired 1 season into a market-setting contract. Cade was putting up numbers that nobody cared about because Detroit was a punchline. So when people started throwing around MVP candidate this season, I get why you might be skeptical. We've seen this movie before. A young star on a bad team gets a few wins and suddenly he's the next big thing. But the rest of the NBA isn't skeptical anymore. They're worried because what Cade is doing right now is the arrival of exactly the kind of player that's almost impossible to stop.
Bucket there from the rookie. Cunningham with an emphatic finish and the foul.
Ever since Cunningham went number 1 overall in 2021, the signs were always there, especially in the lowest moments. Those moments certified him as something rare in this league, a real franchise changer. And look, Cade isn't a physical anomaly like Wemby. He wasn't a viral mixtape prodigy stamped for superstardom at age 15 like Zion or Cooper Flagg. The talent is obvious, sure, but it's the intangibles layered on top of that separates him. The poise, the patience, the responsibility. That responsibility comes automatically when you're number 1 pick. The hype, the weight, the hope of a franchise, the pressure of expectations, and usually a roster that isn't ready. You're asked to be the solution before the problem is even fully built. And Detroit, that was more than a rebuild, that was rock bottom. They say the truest measure of a person isn't revealed at the peak, it's revealed when you're flat on the floor, shaken up, wondering how much more you can take. That's the moment where people fold or stand back up. Cade Cunningham lived in the moment for 28 straight games. During the 23-24 season, the Pistons lost an NBA record 28 consecutive times. Night after night, Cade kept showing up. He didn't detach, he didn't check out, he didn't shrink from it. And you could see how much it weighed on him. After their 25th straight loss, Cunningham walked off the floor fighting back tears. Detroit eventually finished 14-68, the worst season in franchise history. But that stretch built the foundation. What looked like a lost season became baby steps, then real progress, then something nobody expected this fast. Last season, the Pistons took their first real leap. 44 wins, their first playoff appearance since 2019, and a 6-game first-round fight with the New York Knicks. And instead of rushing the rebuild or cashing in for a shortcut star, Detroit stayed disciplined. They worked the margins. Duncan Robinson, a guy who can space the floor and knock down threes when defenses collapse on Cade. Caris LeVert, veteran ball handler who can create his own shot and take pressure off the star. Javonte Green, energy and defense off the bench. Smart additions, veteran voices, but still Cade's team. That matters. Detroit didn't go chasing a second star who might clash with the guy they've been building around. They gave Cunningham the supporting cast he needed and let him cook. And now, there are no tears in Detroit. The Pistons sit in first place in the Eastern Conference. Only the defending champion Oklahoma City own a better record in the entire league. Their 13-game winning streak from October 29 to November 24 tied a franchise record, and this is the latest point in a season Detroit has held the East top spot since 2005. Coincidentally, the last time they reached the NBA Finals. This isn't a surprise anymore, it's confirmation. The Pistons' faith in Cade Cunningham has paid off. What the Pistons have in their 6'6" point guard is a player who checks every box. He can score 26.7 points per game. He can create 9.7 assists a night, second in the entire NBA, behind only Nikola Jokic. He sees the floor early, delivers the ball to the right teammate at the right moment, makes fast and correct reads, commits defensively, and most importantly, gravitates toward the moments late in games when everything tightens and someone has to take control.
Closer.
1:45 to play. 4-point game. Cunningham pulls and hits. Cade Cunningham, mid-range assassin.
You can feel it on the court, and you can see it off the court too, especially in the locker room. Cade's unselfishness is real. He deflects praise, keeps himself on equal ground with his teammates, and because of that, the Pistons rally around him. These guys genuinely want to play for him. They believe in what he's building. As head coach JB Bickerstaff put it, he can eat without taking food off your plate. The roots of that growth, the leap from talented #1 pick to true franchise player, trace back to an unlikely place, the 23-24 season. A year so brutal, it barely feels real. Essentially, Cade's second season after a fractured shin limited him to just 12 games the year before. Detroit lost 28 straight games, and somehow, in the middle of that darkness, Cunningham was a constant flicker of light. During that losing streak, he was often the best player on the floor, regardless of who was on the other bench. He dropped 43 points, then 41, scored 33 twice, put up 31 three times, and across those 28 losses, he still averaged nearly 8 assists per game. Everything around him was unstable: coaching staff, front office, confidence. The weight of losing crushed the building. Monty Williams didn't survive it, fired after one season, with 5 years and $65 million left on his deal. But Cade did, and it was the way he handled that season, the consistency, the leadership, the refusal to fold, that put the Pistons on the path they're on now. At the very least, Detroit came out of it knowing this: they had a face of the franchise, a cornerstone, someone you could build around. If last season was his breakout, All-Star, All-NBA, playoff appearance, then this season is something bigger. Cunningham's on-court flow is smooth and constant. He doesn't dominate the ball unless the moment demands it. He creates advantages without forcing them. Watch him run a pick and roll. It's the timing, the patience, the restraint. He lets the play develop, he reads the defense and makes the right decision, even if that means giving up a good shot for a great one. That's the difference between a scorer and a floor general. Cade is both. He's played point guard his entire 4-year NBA career, despite being an elite scorer. But this season, his passing has jumped to another tier entirely. The numbers tell the story. He averaged 5.6 assists as a rookie, 6 in his injury-shortened sophomore year, 7.5 in 23-24, then a jump to over 9 assists per game while leading Detroit to a playoff berth, and is still averaging 9+ this season too. But he's not just facilitating. Cunningham is posting career highs in points per game, steals, blocks, and three-pointers made. He's impacting the game everywhere. His rise mirrors the Pistons' return to relevance. Last season, they surpassed their wins total from the previous 2 seasons combined. Now they're staring at something that once felt impossible, becoming the team to beat in the Eastern Conference.
Cade stops topside, fires for 3, and it's through. Count that baby, and a foul. A chance for a 4-bagger.
Cade Cunningham had already proven he could score. Now he's proven something far more dangerous. He can control the game and run a real deal contender at an MVP level. He's almost certainly not going to win the award this season, not with Nikola Jokic, who is having another historic season, or Shai Gilgeous-Alexander having an arguably better season than his MVP season last year. The voting is what it is, but Cade has officially forced his way into the conversation. According to Fox Sports, Cunningham has the 3rd best MVP odds at a plus 1800. Cunningham was named Eastern Conference Player of the Month for November and is averaging 26.7 points, 6.2 rebounds, 9.7 assists, and 1.5 steals per game, all while shooting slightly worse than he did last season. And that's the scary part. If his efficiency ticks up even slightly, Cade has a real chance to become just the 8th player in NBA history to average at least 28 points and 9 assists over a full season. The impact is undeniable. When Cunningham is on the floor, the Pistons are 9.9 points better compared to when he sits. He also leads the team in minutes by a wide margin at 35.6 per game. No one else even cracks 30. Detroit runs through him. Everything flows from Cade. His teammates feel the weight he carries. Isaiah Stewart said, "When you're the head of it, you got a lot of responsibility." He shows up for us every single game. That's a lot on his shoulders, but he's built for it. That mindset didn't change after Detroit's 6-game first-round loss to New York. Cunningham wasn't content with simply making the playoffs 1 year removed from the worst season in franchise history. He understands they want a championship out of this, so he went back to work. Cade rewatched the entire playoff series and the final 28 games of the regular season, taking notes on where he could be more efficient without losing his aggression. Most 24-year-olds would have taken a vacation after dragging a franchise out of the basement. Cade grabbed the film and started studying. The numbers already told a strong story. Last season, Cunningham made his first All-Star team, finished 7th in the NBA in scoring at 26.1 points per game, and 4th in assists at 9.1. In the playoffs, he nearly averaged a triple-double against the Knicks, 25 points, 8.7 assists, and 8.3 rebounds. But Cade focused on the gaps. He shot just 17.9% from 3 in the postseason. He went 0 for 3 in Game 4 and 0 for 8 in Game 6 from deep. He averaged 5.3 turnovers per game. Instead of overhauling his training, he refined it, consulting with Hall of Famers, adjusting his shot diet, working more on three-point shooting, and trimming back the mid-range volume. The results are showing up everywhere. Detroit has become one of the league's best defensive teams, and Cunningham has quietly played a major role. As the primary defender, he's held shooters to below 44% from the field. And when it comes to crunch time, this is where Cade has really separated himself. He's now the favourite to win Clutch Player of the Year with a plus 200 odds, an implied probability of 33%. He's already passed Shai Gilgeous-Alexander in the market. Now think about that for a second. The guy who is the reigning league MVP, and Cade is beating him in clutch situations. As of January 9, Cunningham has scored 98 clutch points, second only to SGA, while shooting 50% from the field in those situations. His fourth quarter dominance shows his control. He's reading defenses 2 steps ahead, dictating pace, and turning chaos into choreography.
Cade keeps the basketball, lobs to Jalen Duren! What a jam! First of all, what a catch!
He probes instead of rushing, resets instead of forcing. His fourth quarter field goal percentage is up 7% from last season, his turnovers are down, and he's closing games with a veteran calm. Detroit finally has a closer. And that composure has spread through the roster. Spacing is cleaner, roles are clearer. Duncan Robinson finds open looks, Tobias Harris and Osar Thompson punish collapsing defenses, Jalen Duren gets easier touches inside. Even the second unit benefits from the tempo Cade establishes. For the Pistons, this is what real growth looks like. Talent with structure around it. An identity that holds up when games get tight. When the game tightens, everyone in the building knows who's in control. And that's exactly why the league isn't skeptical anymore. They're paying attention. Cade Cunningham is having more than a good season. He's proving everything the scouts saw in 2021 was real. It just needed time and the right circumstances to emerge.
Your defense is also going to be part of your offense, taking good shots and making sure that...
That's a strength.
That's a strength there.
The Pistons' rebuild wasn't a failure that Cade survived. It was the foundation for what he's becoming. 3 years of losing, the injuries, the 28-game streak, all of it built something in him that you can't teach. And if you think the Eastern Conference wasn't paying attention, they are now. Because the Pistons aren't a cute story anymore. They're not the feel-good rebuilding team that's fun to root for. They're a problem, a real one. The kind of team that can end your season in the playoffs. Let me know what you think. Is Cade Cunningham already a threat to win MVP? Or does Detroit need to prove more before that conversation gets real? And if you believe in where the Pistons are headed, drop a like, hype the video, subscribe, and tell me how far you think this team can actually go. And if you enjoyed this video, check out one of these on your screen now.